Hi, Stuart Sutton at 1 Acre Plus Homes. Hope you're having a great day. This video is going to share with you the number one way that you can avoid having buyers terminate their contracts. There's one major overriding reason that buyers terminate real estate contracts. And this video is going to show you exactly how to avoid that. Let me jump right in. When I was growing up, I had an uncle who was a superintendent of a school district in West Texas. It was a small school district, but he was a very wise man. He shared with all of his friends, siblings, anyone he knew, how to prepare their child for school. The number one way to prepare your child for school, he always said, was to read to them. Now, before I could read, I remember my parents read to me. And we did the same thing with our kids because we learned from that. That preparation, when a child goes to school, helps him in so many ways. It helps him understand the literature that they're trying to discern while they're reading English or math or whatever the case is. It helps him in learning to read if they've been read to. It just helps in so many ways. That preparation is crucial. What I'm going to cover with you is preparation to avoid having buyers terminate your contract. This preparation is step by step, but it is absolutely vital. I believe very strongly, as my uncle did, in preparing in advance, in understanding what kind of preparation is most effective. So in putting your house in the market, in avoiding problems in the future, and an immediate improvement in the way buyers perceive your home, measure twice, cut once. That's true in virtually every industry. The better prepared you are, the better the results. So in putting your home in the market, there are really two ways to address this. I'm going to cover the first one very briefly. I'm going to go into the second one in detail. The first one is have a home inspection. Very simple, have a home inspection. Now that home inspector is going to check everything and they're going to advise you as to what you need to have an expert look at. So home inspectors are generalists. Their job is to identify issues that a true expert needs to look into, like the water heater or the electric panel. So the other option is to actually have those individuals come in for each situation. There are 5 areas that I'm going to cover that are very expensive in any given home. Actually, I think I'm going to go over 6. I'm going to throw a bonus in. But the first one is the roof. It's easy to have the roof inspected. Now, would the home inspector check the roof? Yeah. But you can circumvent that and just simply have a roofer come out. Now, I'm going to share something with you. Have a trusted roofer come out. Somebody you've used and trust to give you an honest opinion. If you don't know of someone, contact me. I'll give you someone so incredibly honest, you'll never deal with anybody again. But have that roof inspected. And if there is hail damage or any other kind of damage, you can take care of it. File your insurance claim, whatever the case is. I have another video you ought to watch about, it's called An Expensive Lesson, and I'll put up at the end here. But that expensive lesson is to let an insurance adjuster on your roof without your roofer there. That can be costly. Never let an insurance adjuster look at your roof without your roofer there. So the very first thing is have a roof inspection. Have your roofer simply write up, hey, I checked this roof out. It's in good condition. No problems, no hail damage, etc. So when the buyer comes along, they're comfortable. One of the most expensive parts of the house is in good working order. The next is the HVAC. That's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Most people just think of it as the AC, but you also got the heating and the vents in there. And again, very affordable. Actually, let me go back to cost. A lot of roofers won't charge you anything to come out and take a look at the roof. So no worries there. I've got a great roofer who will come out, and I actually pay him per inspection because I send him on a lot of inspections, and he doesn't get that many roof jobs out of it. It's kind of a percentage game. But when it comes to air conditioning, there's a small fee for that too. But they can service it. If there's anything that needs to be done, they can take care of it. And guess what? Now your buyer comes along and you've got a written good roof inspection report and a written good AC inspection report. So you're in good standing with two very expensive parts of the house. The next expensive part of the house is the electrical. Now, home inspectors often write things up that really are inconsequential. I'm not being derogatory again. They just have a list that they check off. And a lot of times the electrician will come out and say, hey, this is okay. This is common practice. I can see why the inspector wrote it up, but this is the way we do things. But there are also issues that the electrician might feel you need to take care of. For example, most buyers will want GFCI plugs if you don't have them. That's ground fault circuit interrupt plugs. There are other things regarding the electrical system that are not uncommon for buyers to ask for. Again, now you have an electric panel and electric system that is inspected and in good order, and your buyer now has those three very expensive parts of the home that are acknowledged as being in great working order. And this isn't is common for a lot of people. The foundation depends on where you're located. There are areas of our market where foundation problems are very common, and there are areas where they're very rare. So if you do see any signs, it's a good idea to have a foundation company come out. Now, I'm going to forewarn you on this one, and I've got another video that covers this. But if you have a foundation company come out for a nominal fee, that's great. And they may say, hey, everything looks great. But if they say, no, you have a problem, don't just take that for granted. Your next step would be to get an actual engineer. I've had situations where foundation company said you have a problem, and then engineer said, no, you don't. So you want to be very careful about that as well. But now you have electric, roof, air conditioning, and foundation, and you've proven to the buyer before they ever walk in the house that they're all in good working order. Now, if you live on an acre or more, septics are very common and very expensive. So this is one of the most common expense items that scare buyers if there are issues. So it's a good idea to have that checked before you ever put your home on the market. Now, I'm going to forewarn you. You may have agents who say, oh, don't do that stuff. The buyer's going to have an inspection and then you can address it. I disagree. I don't disagree that the buyer's going to have inspection. I disagree that you should wait until the buyer has an inspection. It's better to know now than know when the buyer's inspector comes along and take a chance on losing your contract. Get this stuff taken care of now. If there are issues to be addressed, won't they be there when the buyer's inspector comes along? Sure. Well, if they need to be addressed, they need to be addressed. Why not take care of them now instead of waiting and possibly losing your buyer because they're concerned about those issues? So have the septic inspected and take care of any issues that need to be done there. And if you're on an acre or more, again, sometimes there is a well. Again, a very expensive part of the home. Good idea to have that checked as well. Make sure that the pump and the sleeving and the well house, everything is in good condition. So now you have, for the buyer, the expensive parts of the home showing that they're all in good working order. Now, the buyer may have their own inspection anyway by a home inspector, and that's all well and good. It absolutely is. But, and here's the big but, experts carry more weight than home inspectors. So if the home inspector says, hey, this is a problem, but the expert said, no, this is in good working order, this is not a problem, you can just simply go to the expert and say, this is what the home inspector said. The expert can say, well, gosh, he's right, we'll take care of it, or nope, he's not right, and explain why. And I've had many situations where the buyer talked to our expert and said, yes, we agree with your expert. Our home inspector simply is listing things that they see that might need to be looked at by experts. Hope that made sense. So you've got all of those major things taken care of, and the buyer is not going to have concerns after they do their home inspection. It's important to be prepared. The two major reasons that contracts terminate historically are mortgages and inspections. Now, I'm going to tell you something that you may not be aware of. I don't know if anyone else has shared this with you, but the last couple of years have been very interesting in the real estate market. Actually, in most areas, but in our area for certain. Buyers have backed out of contracts more often for no reason than I've ever seen. But the two reasons that are actually identifiable and verifiable are inspections and mortgages. I deal with mortgages on another video, but you prepare in advance for the buyer's home inspection, and you're not going to have the termination looming over you. I hope this makes sense. Now, I did throw this other video up here. As I mentioned earlier, there's a hugely important rule you need to follow. It's on this video. Press like if you like this video. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Remember, it's your choice, so make it a powerful day.